With the first period of school closures, the school had to react quite quickly. Although we'd already introduced aspects of digital learning, this was not used consistently across the school. For the first 2 weeks of school closure, individual paper packs were prepared for the children to use. We then began to gradually phase in the use of Google Classrooms for the children both to access and submit work. When the children began to return to school in June, we actively sought feedback from children, parents and staff. We identified that the main areas to improve were building pupils' independence in working remotely, trying to find ways of increasing children's engagement, improving communication between teachers and pupils, and also ways in which children were able to collaborate in their learning together. We also began to look at ways at providing feedback on individual children's work and finding ways to assess their learning.
I felt that during the first period of lockdown we were very quickly able to establish a quality level of learning for all. We did this mainly through Google Classroom, but we also at that time provided activities and tasks for children that didn't have access to IT, and pupils responded well to that.
And one of the elements that we really took from the first lockdown and period of remote learning was that we just needed to work on engaging the students at a higher level and how we can incorporate that as assessment alongside encouraging children to engage effectively.
So during the first lockdown, I thought that we provided a really good level of home education and home learning for the children. Looking back on that experience has taught us a lot, and I think the main thing that we have taken forward is how we now are pretty much replicating everything that we do in the classroom at home.
So when we entered the second phase of school closures, we were really conscious that we wanted to use the feedback that we'd received to focus on those areas that we could improve. So we looked really closely at how we would use assessment and how we would track pupil progress when working from home. We also looked closely at how we could engage pupils and to build that independence in them as well.
I was very lucky to be part of a group where we were able to give feedback regarding the work for the initial closures, and I absolutely feel that our feedback was received very well and was implemented certainly during this sort of second stage of school closures that we've been going through now, particularly with regards to actually sending in the work and having feedback from the teachers. And at the end of the day, they love their teachers and they just want them to be the people who are giving them that feedback. So that was so valuable, and it's really valuable now.
So we prepared staff and students for another period of remote learning or for a blended learning model by really investing in technology and by training. So we had CPD for staff and also within our computing lessons, we showed children how to use Google Classroom effectively.
It was clear that the kids had login details, that there was a whole system that had been set up behind it for them. And so there were some teething problems in the beginning in January, but very soon and very quickly it became very smooth. So I think also, I think a lot of congratulations to the school for having done that prep work in the autumn.
It's really important to us to ensure that all learners are supported at home. High quality inclusive teaching approaches in the classroom are just as effective and probably even more important when teaching online. For children who might be finding the new concept difficult, they are then provided with an opportunity to check in with one of our LSAs and have a more guided and supported group session with much fewer number of children.
One of the ways that I support home learning is one-to-one reading, which is incredibly useful as it gives me the opportunity to track the progress of a child while at home and still gives them the opportunity to read regularly. It is also lovely to check in with them and give them the opportunity to discuss any concerns they have with any school work and how they're feeling at home.
In Year 1, we have identified children that need extra support and interventions with their phonics and reading. These children have a one-to-one session with a learning support assistant or teacher once or twice a week. We use Google Meets to meet with the children.
This way, if we are doing a reading intervention, we can share the screen and read the text together. If we are doing phonics, we share the flashcards and play games and different activities. We also use Google Meets for speech and language interventions, again on a one-to-one basis.
In Year 2 English, each lesson consists of 3 pre-recorded videos which the children watch at home or in school. Scaffolded writing templates are provided for those who are struggling, and we provide a challenge to extend more able writers. Work is assessed every day, and we provide feedback in the form of private comments. A live drop-in session is offered daily to which the children can come for feedback and guidance.
In Year 6, we are making learning available to everybody. At the beginning of the day, I do a live session for about 15 minutes for both the children in school and at home. And then at the end of that session, any children that are unsure, they can stay online and they do a small group with Mrs. Hippolyte. Then we all meet back, everybody, in class and at home, and we go through the answers and talk through any problems.
I like that because last time we didn't have the whole concept of going on the live calls, and it's nice seeing other people's faces and doing the little live sessions, like the inputs.
It's really useful in the live lessons when you can just see your teachers and ask them questions about how you're meant to do it and stuff.
In science, we are really making the most of this opportunity to enhance our curriculum using blended learning. This has been particularly helpful in my assessing children's skills of working scientifically. Normally they'd have to use written tables or communicate through writing, whereas now all our children are able to communicate in a way that suits them. We've also been able to increase the number of STEM ambassadors taking part in our lessons, so children have had direct opportunities to question and answer with these people, these experts.
In Year 1, we do a weekly class assembly. This is a chance for the children to get to see each other for 15-20 minutes, and we found it's really good for their social skills. Especially during lockdown, they're just getting to see the teacher, the LSAs and all of their friends.
We have identified some children who need extra support with phonics. To meet these needs, we have daily phonics booster sessions. As reading is such a key area in early years, we have set up a one-to-one reading session with all the children in the class, which takes place every week.
So we've seen this whole period as a huge opportunity to reimagine teaching and learning at Gurnard. What we want to do is to embrace digital technologies, to use these to really enhance what we're offering in the classroom and beyond.
I think moving forward, I would quite like to be a bit more collaborative in how I teach, whether that's live inputs in Google Hangouts, or that might be more collaborative with how they do work together.
I think for the children it's the exposure to different types of technology and their uses and their practicalities within school, not just to iPads to be used as cameras, but to be used as devices to sort of enable and improve their learning through screen grabs, voting, and different tools such as that. I think where I'd like to go next, I think I'd love to continue using those within my daily practice. I think that really benefit both myself and them to be able to see just how good and how valuable technology can be to improve everyone's atmosphere within the classroom.
What we want to do is to move towards a hybrid learning model, meaning that children can use technologies to collaborate with one another. They can communicate more easily with each other. They're able to learn at their own speed, and we are able to use assistive technologies to help all learners to achieve. Ultimately, we want to develop our technology in school so that it becomes invisible to pupils and teachers and just becomes a natural part of that learning process, something that is helpful, but something that is included and embedded in those teaching practices. We want Gurnard Primary School to be future focused, to inspire the next generation and to prepare them for an uncertain and evolving job market.